Pope Francis reinforces sexual taboos. Pope Francis won wide praise for lightening up on Catholic condemnation of divorce, but a closer reading of his text shows him reinforcing the Church's repressive positions on human sexual behavior, writes Daniel C. Maguire. By Daniel C. Maguire. It embarrasses me to remember it. In 1960, as a young priest in my very first year in a parish, I took it upon myself to give a 2-day retreat to the married people in the parish, to tell them how to live their married lives. The event should be filed under A, for arrogance, or I for ignorance. I am glad the talks were not preserved on YouTube, for much that I said was awful. In condemning contraception, I trotted out what was a staple of the time, a letter from an unborn son. It was an epic of emotional blackmail. It said, "I know you did not have me so you could get that new car or that new refrigerator. But that car and that refrigerator will never run up and put their little arms around you like I would have done if you hadn't used contraceptives." Pope Francis too should be embarrassed by the significant failings in his exhortation, The Joy of Love. A fatal flaw in the text is that Francis is singing in an all-male chorus, and in that company he embarks on marriage counseling, a field in which neither he nor they have any privileged expertise. Laity were consulted in the preparation of this exhortation, but their voices are missing in the text, or filtered through the male chorus. Worse yet, Francis' theology is muddled, and unrepresentative of the best of current Catholic thought. To be fair, Francis admits from the start that what he sees makes no claim to infallibility, a healthy admission since some of his mistakes are whoppers. The Joy of Love is the product of a committee. Committee reports are never eloquent, and rarely coherent. This one emanated from years of dispute-ridden synod meetings. It is replete with compromises and contradictions. It has been hailed as a retreat from rule-centered church teaching. But it is no such thing. The older rules hover over its pages like an eminence grease. To give credit where credit is due, the gospel according to Francis in this and in his other writings redefines pro-life and family value, the shibboleths of the far right, whose reverence for life seems to be cut off at birth. Being pro-life, Francis style, means working and voting for living wages for all, having a preferential option for the poor, half of whom are children, firmly rejecting the death penalty and militaristic obsessions, welcoming immigrants and refugees, fighting ecocide, and supporting unions. Families should be gardens where all those values flourish and grow. Francis also recognizes that the world cannot withstand unlimited population growth. There are other earth-friendly ways of being fruitful. He even admits Catholics can learn much from the married clergy of other religions. Clearly, their sexual behavior makes fewer sordid headlines. But now to the failings. Francis refers briefly to the right of conscience in the Catholic tradition. Unfortunately, he does not apply that properly to some major issues in The Joy of Love: same-sex marriage, remarriage after divorce, mercy death, contraception, and abortion. On those issues he is rule-bound and rigid, however couched it always in calls for mercy. Francis waxes rhapsodic on the beauty and personal enrichment offered by marriage and sexual cherishing in marriage. Marriage is the ideal human love. Marital love is love at its best, superior to the love of friendship, filial devotion, or devotion to a cause. And the reason is to be found precisely in its totality. Unwillingness to make such a commitment is selfish, calculating, and petty. All this is true, sees Francis, even for childless marriages. And now the rub. This magnificent experience is reserved by God and the Catholic hierarchy only for heterosexuals. It's beyond the reach of gays who love one another. The document,